On the show in Wheelspin, we drive the latest from Lamborghini, the Huracan. In Wheelspin, we also drive the new Polo variants, the GT TDI and the GT TSI. And on the road, we drive the Hyundai Accent to Kolar. Over 600 brake horsepower, 516 Newton meters of torque, 0 to 100 in just 3.2 seconds, 0 to 200 in just over 9 seconds. This is a fast car, very, very fast. I want to be a cop. Seriously, I like cops. Yes, I want to be a cop. Of course, I would love to be a cop if I get to drive this on a regular basis. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest from Lamborghini, the Huracan. And guess what? Who gets to drive it first? Of course, the cops in Italy and the Middle East. But never mind, a motoring journalist's life is not all that bad. The Huracan here is not only the latest from Lamborghini, but is the successor to the best-selling Lamborghini ever, the Gallardo. So the Huracan does have its stars cut out from day one, but being the latest also has its advantage. And there is no reason to believe that the Huracan will not do just as well. But I'm kind of a fool if I just stand here and talk about the car instead of getting in behind the wheel and finding out what the V10 motor is all about. The Huracan was launched this year globally but will make its appearance in India this month. Built as a successor to the hugely successful Gallardo, the Huracan addresses the same market segment. People who want a very drivable Lamborghini. The Huracan might not be the fastest or the biggest, but what it is a Lamborghini with plenty of power and the unmistakable wedgie design to make it stand out no matter where she goes. I don't think there are too many people on planet Earth who actually drive to work in a Lamborghini on an everyday basis. But if you happen to be the sort who wants to do this, then this Huracan here looks quite capable of taking care of your needs. She has everything that you might need in a practical everyday sedan. Well-crafted seats, leather-wrapped steering wheel, which looks straight out of a PlayStation, but does the job quite well with multifunction buttons on it. And she also comes with air conditioning and an audio system. Well, the audio system might be a bit of a waste of money because the best music, in my opinion, comes from the V10 here, which is parked right behind you. But then there are all sorts of people. Now it's time for me to listen to some V10 music. If you do harbor dreams of driving a supercar on an everyday basis, but fear that the speed breakers and the numerous potholes on our roads will play spoilsport, then fear not, because the Huracan is one supercar with an SUV-like ground clearance, or so the company claims. You can raise the height of the car by 45 millimeters at the press of a button, and this will make the ground clearance come up to what is a staggering figure by supercar standards, 175 millimeters. Well, did I check it? Of course not. Who wants to break a borrowed supercar? Make no mistake, this Huracan is fast, blindingly fast, and the V10 sitting here produces plenty of juice, and all this is pumped into a chassis which is very, very nimble and does exactly what you want it to do. And you have the traction control here, which keeps things in check. All very well, because if you lose a car like this at these speeds, I think rebirth is going to take a long, long time. There are 3 driving modes here. The economy, whoever looks for economy in a Lamborghini. Then you have the sport mode to play a race car driver. And if you're not happy with that, you have the Corsa mode, which means the racetrack mode. Once you put the car on the racetrack mode, and I hope you will do it only on the racetrack, the traction control cuts off, which means a lot of fun. All great fun, but extremely silly. Who wants a fast car to become even faster? I don't know. This is fast. The engine is mated to a 7-speed dual clutch transmission with an option of selecting the drive. And once you engage gear, power is transferred to all the 4 wheels, which adds tremendously to the road handling characteristics of the Huracan. As compared to the Gallardo, the Huracan is lighter, faster and much more agile around corners. And on a straight stretch, it will propel you to a top speed of 325 kilometers. And for stopping, it uses carbon ceramic brakes, which needless to say are the best in the business. And these are combined with ABS and EBD, plus of course the traction control system to counter any driver error. Oh well, all I can tell you is that if you have the green stuff lying somewhere in the vault, go get it and spend it on the Huracan, because money can't be better spent than on a good car. And yes, she is expensive, but I assure you, if you drive the Huracan, heads will turn faster your way than a gorgeous lady in a bikini sitting on a traffic island. And for God's sake, don't ask me the question, kitna deti hai? Yes, she is a thirsty lady and drinks the best stuff too, 97 octane by the gulp. But after you have spent so much on the Huracan, I think you are likely to overlook a small issue like a drinking problem.
Would have done placing and doing more than what Gallardo did, because one, it is generations ahead, if I may say so. You would see that very soon. And there are a lot of developments which have happened in this car. When you drive the car, when you feel the car, you realize that it's really modern the way it's come out. Be it the speed, the driving comfort, the features, the safety features are a sea change. Just to give an example, Huracan, though the weight is 10% lower than the Gallardo chassis, it's 50% more torsionally stiffer, more stronger. And that's what we're talking about development in a car. Of course, it will be much faster, not to mention. But the type of things which are used, the type of dynamics which are used, the kind of systems and electronics that are used, which makes it extremely safe, extremely fun to drive.
As like any other Lambo, the Huracan is certainly not going to be cheap. Automotive fun seldom is. And the company is pegging the price at around rupees 4 crores. But the good news is, if you do decide to shell out the money, you can lay your hands on one, as the Huracan will be formally launched next week in India. If you recall, Volkswagen has recently launched the upgraded Polo with some cosmetic changes, which certainly made the car a whole lot better. And what I have with me today might look like the same Polo, but let me tell you it's not. If you recall, Volkswagen had the Polo in 2 variants, the GT TSI and the GT TDI, which were the juiced up versions of the regular Polo. And this is exactly what I have. Now the GT TSI and the GT TDI also gets a treatment, and they look quite different. But where they are really different is under the bonnet. So time for me to take a spin and tell you how she drives. If you were to look from outside at this GT TSI, or for that matter the GT TDI model, you would need a rather keen eye to spot the difference between this and the regular variant, because there aren't too many. But again, if you watch closely, you will find that the spoiler is in all black, and so are the ORVMs, no matter what the body color is. And if you walk up front, you will find that the headlamps too have been blacked out, and there's a touch of chrome here. And in addition to that, you have the GT badging. So if you really find a Polo looming up in your rear view mirror with the GT badging, make way, because these cars are supposed to be very fast. Yes, it might be difficult to make out that this is a different, or rather a more powerful variant, but it has gone through the same changes which the new Polo did during the latest facelift a couple of months ago. Consequently, it looks much better and more stylish. This is also the most expensive Polo variant you can buy here in India, and this is mostly because it's positioned as a performance hatch. Even after you have stepped inside this Polo GT TSI, you'll be hard-put to tell that you are driving a more powerful variant. Everything looks pretty much same as the regular variant, except for the fact that the fascia here is now black instead of the dual-tone beige and black, and the seat upholstery looks new, and there's a touch of piano black here instead of the chrome surrounds. But rest of the stuff is identical to the regular Polo. And I think that this is where things should have changed, and there should have been some color and some excitement added to this car to tell you that you are driving a more expensive and a more powerful variant. How about some red seat belts? Even though things might not have been differentiated enough, but both the GT TSI and the GT TDI has all the features you may find in the top variant of the Polo, the Highline. And that's an adequate list of features, giving you no reason to complain. All basics like climate control, a sound system which pairs with an USB, a new steering wheel which has been made flat bottom to add to the sporty touch with multifunction buttons, and the interiors of the Polo are quite pleasing and gives the impression of a rather well-made car. And in terms of space, it offers adequate legroom and headroom for passengers in the back seat. It's only when you get in behind the wheel of this Polo TSI and start driving it that you realize things have changed, and changed for the better. This is about 30 brake horsepower more than the regular variant. And in terms of torque, it's higher by 65 Newton meters of torque. And this is what makes the difference to the performance of the car. Volkswagen says they have also made changes to the suspension and made it somewhat more tuned for performance, and this clearly shows when you drive the car fast. Now this one rides on 15-inch wheels instead of the regular 14-inch wheels, and that too has added to the stability and the feel of the car. This engine is married to a 7-speed automatic DSG gearbox, which is a Volkswagen patent, and it is this gearbox which makes this car so much pleasure to drive. The box is efficient, it's smooth, it shifts without any shift shocks, and it's a pleasure to drive completely. And in case you feel you're not going fast enough, then the gearbox here gives you another option, the sports mode, which just changes the complexion of things. Overall, the Polo TSI is a car for the hardcore enthusiasts who like driving fast and hard. And if you're that sort, you're going to enjoy this Polo TSI. Volkswagen had recently put in a new 1.5-litre diesel engine in the Polo, and this is what is doing duty on this GT TDI. But both the GT variants pump out a lot more power than the regular variants, and the good thing is that the fuel efficiency too has improved in this new diesel engine, and it is quite acceptable for a car which pumps out over 100 brake horsepower. Even the suspension has been tweaked to handle this power, and this has become a car which you will love to throw around a fast corner and perhaps even indulge in some fun. The handling, coupled with plenty of power, is what gives these variants the performance edge. And in case you land up on an empty airstrip like we did did, you can put the car to the limit and you will realize that she acquits herself rather well. If you have motoring fun in mind, then it's these GT variants that you want. In terms of looks and equipment levels, both the GT variants are the same, except for the fact that the diesel TDI comes only with the manual transmission, instead of the 7-speed automatic DSG box on the petrol TSI variant. ARI fuel certification figure for the diesel GT TDI is 19.91 kilometers to a litre, and for the petrol engine is 17.21 kilometers to a litre. If you do decide to buy this Polo with this TSI badging here, I can assure you that you are buying an exciting car. This is the closest you might get to a hot hatch in India. The TSI is about performance, it gives out enough power, the engine is smooth and refined, and it's married to a gearbox, the DSG, which is certainly one of the best in the business. But now comes the question of price. Whether it's worth the 2 lakh difference between this and the regular Polo, I'll leave that to you to decide. In terms of pricing, both the diesel GT TDI and the petrol GT TSI costs rupees 7.99 lakhs, which is substantially higher than the other trims. But if you pay this much extra, you also get an automatic gearbox for the petrol one. And this is really an enjoyable automatic to drive. Plus, of course, plenty more performance for both the diesel and the petrol variant.
What makes the Accent perfect for a long trip is the boot. It fits in all your baggage, so it's great for a road trip. Now I'm gonna go drive. The interior of the Accent is very spacious. There's plenty of room in the front and in the back, which means you can take your whole family on vacation. Now in terms of features, it's hard to beat a Hyundai car. The glove compartment has an air conditioner in it, which means that my water bottle stays cool throughout the trip. The internal memory of the stereo system is up to 1 GB, which means I can listen to all of my music. And the automatic climate control keeps me cool throughout the ride. I think it's going to be a fun drive. Kolad is located on NH17, popularly known as the Mumbai-Goa Highway. Kolad can also be accessed from the Mumbai-Pune Expressway via the Khopoli exit and State Highway 60. Both routes offer scenic green views, particularly towards the end of the journey. And while the Goa-Mumbai Highway route is slightly shorter, it's a lot bumpier and less even than the Mumbai-Pune Expressway route. So in the end, both take roughly the same amount of time from Mumbai. The Accent is really easy to drive. Powered by a 1.1-litre diesel engine, she has enough power for easy highway driving. But what I like most about her is that she's really high on fuel efficiency, so I don't have to spend a fortune to make this trip. Now, little features like the reversing camera make the car even more of a pleasure, because it's really all of this that makes it so much fun to drive. We've just reached Kolad and it's nice and early. We're right in time for some river rafting. Now the Kundalika River, where the rafting takes place, is dam controlled, and the dam releases water between 8 and 9 in the morning, and it's this water that generates the rapids. So it's important you get here on time. Now, because it's the monsoon, the water level is even higher, so it's a perfect time to be on the water. And because Kolad is most famous for rafting, I am so excited to check out the Kundalika Rapids for myself. A raft weighs 150 kilograms when inflated, so it takes a team effort to carry it to the water. You strap on your life jacket and helmet, grab a paddle, hop into the raft, and you're ready to go. Now I bet you're wondering how you're going to be saved if your raft capsizes. While rafting might seem daunting if you've never done it before, fear not, a lifeguard is always close by, kayaking alongside to ensure everyone is safe.
While the rapids did look exhilarating, I think I'm going to play it safe and kayak on the placid waters of the lake instead. The lake provides a beautiful view of the scenery, and I'm looking forward to just serenely paddling around. If you really like the water, you can jump in and swim as well. It's really refreshing and cool. Let's go!
If you're not much of a swimmer, or if water just isn't your thing, there are several high-adventure land activities you can try out instead, from bootcamp-style obstacle courses to Burma-style rope bridges. While these might be on land, they're still just as exhilarating.
If you'd like to test your fear of heights and your arm strength, it's time for some rappelling and rock climbing. Now, climbing and rappelling are often confused, so to differentiate between them, climbing refers to an ascent up a vertical surface, whereas rappelling refers to a descent down a vertical surface. And climbing actually requires quite a lot of upper body strength. It's quite tough on the arms, whereas rappelling is all about nerves and having mind over matter. It's just about having the grit that it takes to take that first step off the edge. Still, I think that neither are for the faint-hearted. But if you are going to give it a shot, I think you better strap your harness on real tight.
When rappelling, you have to slide down a rope that is passed under one thigh and over the opposite shoulder, or through a device that provides friction, typically while facing the surface and performing a series of short backward jumps to control the descent. Commando rappelling and lizard rappelling require you to do all that, only on top of everything you're going down head first. So as you can imagine, it's a massive adrenaline rush.
You're the kind of person who can never get enough of an adrenaline rush? Here's what you get to do next. The Flying Fox. The line is around 70 meters long, and you get to zoom down from the starting point with a splash into the lake. Let's check it out. I've had a really great time at Kolad, but I have to admit that I'm ready to go home because it's been such an action-packed day. And I'm so happy that I get to drive this beautiful Hyundai Accent back to Bombay. It's such an easy to ride, comfortable car to drive that I can't wait to get back behind the wheel. See you next week.